Hey guys, Thomas the Solution here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie The Beach Bum. I'm gonna say this right out of the gate. I did not like this movie. It's not a very good movie. I think this movie is bad. But let's get deeper into it, shall we? So, this movie starts off with this man named, I believe his name is Moon Dog, or Moon Cat, or Moon Dog, or whatever. I'll just call him Moon because simplicity's sake. So, this movie starts with him picking out some random cat from the street, uh, and then naming it after whatever, after stealing it, I guess, or just taking it. So he starts off on a stage and whispers into the singer's ear, and then goes on stage and starts to perform, as it were. Uh, and it shows that he used to be a writer. Something I used to be, which is probably why I really hate this movie. But biases aside, and I really hate the ending, but we'll get there. Anyways, it goes to him flirting and being with women. And he chills and he smokes with a bunch of dudes and stuff. After his chill moment, he decides to call I believe, his ex. And she is now with a character played by Snoop Dogg, and I don't know his character's name. I've kind of forgot what it was, so I'll just call him Snoop. Um, oh yes. So Moon, it shows a short scene with his family and stuff of that nature, and then him chilling with the ex afterwards, his ex-girlfriend. And he talks about how rich he used to be and how pleasurable things used to be. Meanwhile, just waiting. Okay, there we go. Meanwhile, Snoop's character is like practicing for this wedding. This wedding is taking place between Moon's daughter and some random schmuck. Meanwhile, after that, we see that Moon golfs with some other guy played by Jonah Hill. I don't know his name either, so I'll just call him Jonah Hill. Sorry if I'm mainly calling the actors by most of their names. Moon is the only name I caught in the entire movie, believe it or not, so I do apologize if that's the only character I call by their in-character name. Nonetheless, it cuts to Moon talking with some lady, flirting with her, and then cuts to him having sex with her in the cooking area, like in public. It's technically in the public, yes. And no one seems to pay too much mind. In fact, people hear it and they actually applaud as well. So this is kind of the crowd we are dealing with in this entire movie. So the ex calls him afterwards, and their daughter ends up being there, and this Snoop Dogg's character starts, the whole wedding thing. Then Moon interrupts and has his little moment. And a party is set up with both him and Moon. They do their thing while the mom and daughter talk about how crazy Moon is. And they're talking about women, him and Snoop Dogg. And the mom and the daughter are talking about, talking about their situation and stuff. We cut back to Moon and Snoop, who move into this location where there is this large weed tree. And they kind of go out of nuts. So he starts to talk about like doing his little speech, one of his little speech things about childbirth, and then he learns only now, or I noted at this point that the husband was named for some reason. Anyway, so Moon and Snoop are chilling out with, and Moon's talking about his little writing moments. We see the husband of the wedding speak pretty briefly. Um, Meanwhile, in the background, or it becomes the foreground, I suppose, but we see the wife um, catching up with Snoop's character. Uh, they have their intimate moment because she's with him now, and Moon sees this, and he seems to not be too bothered by it. He ends up going in the pool, doing his little drugs and swimming to to swim away the sorrows, I suppose. He ends up dancing with his daughter. So it cuts to him in the street smoking, doing his little dance with the jukebox, and the wife catches up with him, and they chill out afterwards, and they smoke, and they walk on the beach, and they talk, and we get our first of three montages in the movie. To show you how lazy this movie is, we have three montages, not one, but three separate montages, one of them being now. And at the end of this montage, it cuts to them being on the reverse side of the road. It is in first person, so it is hard to make out. We just see the lights of another car heading towards them, and then we cut to them in the hospital, in a hospital truck specifically. We see that he and his ex are injured, but when they enter into the hospital building, Moon is totally fine somehow. I don't know how, but whatever. So he checks in on her, and then she dies. So you would think that her dying would be where things of the movie kind of take their, the weight of that would build up, or the story would center around that. But no, he just sort of moves on pretty quickly, all things considered. So he watches his prior self in the past via this TV little cassette thing with far less people. Then he proceeds to call Jonah's character to try to get this gig for some money. And then they talk afterwards. He proceeds to talk to some guards about something or other. I'm not entirely sure what the point of that scene is, but he ends up skating off, and then he brings a bunch of other bums, not himself included, to his own hotel, and they start to wreck and destroy things, and then he ends up getting arrested with the lot of them. So the daughter checks in, and then we get our first jab at politics, I suppose, where he refers to her as being a Republican, and I'm not taking that out of context. He literally says, or asks, "Are you a Republican?" So, don't take me out of context when I say that. The movie literally says that in question form. So he needs to do 12 months of rehab to essentially get in the clear of the law or whatever. So in his last-ditch effort, he goes to get one last beer, and then he starts to laugh with this other rehab person, and then we meet, I believe it's Zac Efron's character, whose name I also don't know, so I'll just call him Zac Efron, or Zach. So they're talking, they're chilling, and then Zach convinces him to leave pretty early on. They drive off via golf cart. They crash a wedding, they get on a boat and leave. So they proceed to go to this party. And Zach, in the process of them running and gallivanting about, robs this old man, and then they end up running off. So Zach is dancing with this girl when they're on this boat, and Moon is continuing to do his writing thing. And they talk some more, and he writes some more, and then we move into what do you know, our second montage of the two of them just doing their thing. And then we get to our next segment of Moon meeting up with Captain Whack. And no, that is what I heard, so that is what I put in my notes, Captain Whack. So they drive and they chat, and the Captain Whack talks about dolphins and dolphin tours. Um, Meanwhile, Moon shoots a gun briefly for like one round or one gunshot randomly. Uh, and Captain Wax says that he can use a partner, so he wants to hire Moon aboard. So he does. So this family goes on board this Captain Whack, and him and Moon are talking, and then the family's just there. He mostly talks about dolphin sex, and yeah, that is literally what they talk about. I'm not taking that out of context either. And then when they see dolphin fins, or what he perceives to be dolphin fins, he goes into the water, that being Captain Whack, ends up being a shark, and then he gets his leg cut off. And again, a pretty significant moment in the movie, and then Moon kind of just says, gets him to the hospital truck, and then says, "Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll do you. I'll do me. I gotta get out of here." Drives the boat and goes off into the next thing. So he talks with Snoop. He meets up with Snoop's character, and then they talk. Snoop openly admits about the affair that he has, and Moon pretty much says that he already kind of knew. So they chill some more, being with some more women and doing their thing that way. So it shows them driving away, and then they go back to the weed, where as soon as they do, it cuts to the police finally moving in on their location after all that time, after, Moon escaped from rehab, so you would think that that would be more of an escalation of things happening, but it took until now for the police to finally catch up. But the group packs all their weed, and Moon and some other pilot guy go on this plane, and then they go off on the plane, and he ends up like in this other location where after driving a little bit, Moon starts to write even more stuff, and then we cut to montage number 3 of him writing stuff. And in the process of that montage, he managed to write what else? The Beach Bum, which is what this movie is probably named. Afterwards, he talks with some business guy who says he's going to offer him a lot of money for this little project. And then afterwards, he proceeds to talk to Jonah Hill's character afterwards. So Moondog wins his prize, and he talks with Jonah's character some more. He reads a little poem at this little banquet, I suppose it is. He dances with his daughter some, who's totally fine with him being out early, ? She's totally fine with it now. She's like, "Yeah, you did it." I don't know, this movie is so dumb. And she also talks about how she dumped that other guy, Frank, or whatever his name was. So, he talks with the business guy afterwards, a bit some more on the phone. He says he wants cash, and he wants it on a boat. So he proceeds to get those two things, cash on a boat, literally. And thus he proceeds to make a fireworks show where it's just him and his cat, and he literally burns his own money, proceeds to get out. It doesn't show him getting out, but he manages to get out on a smaller boat, while the money that is now caught in fire and is literally exploding, um, burns all his money away that he just earned. And then the movie ends with him and his cat just rowing away on a smaller boat. And that was The Beach Bum. A whole lot of nothing, if you ask me. I really do hate that ending. As someone has done 5 years of YouTube and does not get paid to do this currently. I don't have any Patreon supporters. To see some guy lazily write his way about life and then get paid so much money just to burn it all, that is just a spit in the face. I mean, what he could have done with that money, he could have helped his daughter live a much better life than, because she just got a divorce, helping her in her situation. No, he's just gonna burn the money like an asshole. Fucking what great deeds this man has done. Pay for Captain Wax's surgery, or, pay for the expenses of that. No, he doesn't do that either. The mother's funeral already happened, so that wouldn't count. But, out of the two things, I would figure that he would help his daughter, but no, he just burns the money. And so much of it, too. And, as a writer myself, as a failed writer, yeah, I would say my writing is terrible, and, but if my writing was good, if my book Syndicate X got out, if I somehow achieved all that money, I wouldn't just go around on boats burning it, that's for sure. That is the very last thing I'd probably ever want to do. And this guy just does it on a whim. For fun. I fucking hate this ending. It sucks. I hate this character. He's stupid. I hate this story. It's boring. Nothing really happens too much when the weight of things could potentially happen. It is just, whatever. Well, the mother dies. He's fine. Guy gets leg cut off. Move on. Zac Efron and him, flee from the police. The police will, take their time, getting someone who should be in rehab back into rehab and then give up in the process. Because, you would think that someone who has become popularized in this way via getting paid would be a little easier to spot out, more than anything. But I guess not. I guess this movie, what this movie feels like? It feels like they got a whole lot of celebrity people who are already pretty damn rich as it is, got them together, and just said, have a little vacation and then we'll film the least amount of movie to make a story possible. That is what this movie feels like. There's just a whole lot of talking, some weed in the process, some other little bits here and there, but there isn't much of an actual story. There isn't actually much for this to even be a movie, but it is. So yeah, that is my rant against The Beach Bum. It's not great. I'd give it, out of the score, I'd give it a 2 out of 10, and the only reason I would even score it that high is because I found some of what Snoop was saying in the movie kind of funny, a bit comical in nature, but besides Snoop's character, and his little moments, this movie is just complete dumb horseshit nonsense and vacation fodder, if you ask me. There isn't much to it, and again, the end of this journey is just, it feels like a huge spit in the face to anyone who works hard to get their money, and this is coming from someone who's worked damn hard, 5 years working hard on YouTube, and I don't earn a goddamn penny on this platform. So if you did enjoy this rant/review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description. One will head you over to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page. Any donations, and I promise you, I will not go wasting my Patreon's money and burning it on a goddamn boat. That is a promise I can make. And until next time, everyone, bye-bye.